All right. Welcome to another edition of the Navigating Leadership AP Roundtable, sponsored by Unlock the Middle. So the guys at Unlock the Middle, Dean, Chris, hope you're out there. Listen, hopefully doing you proud. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining tonight or whenever you listen to this. We have a great topic on tap for you. We're going to dive into social media, how it's impacting our school year, how it's impacting our students, and what we can do to show them how social media should be used appropriately. Real quick, I'm AJ Bianco, assistant principal, my second year at a middle school in New Jersey, surrounded by some outstanding school APs from a lot of the East Coast this time, but that's cool. If you're listening out there, you're an assistant principal, you would like to be involved in the show, please DM me, Mike, or Ryan, and let us know that you want to come on. We'd love to have some new faces. We have some familiar faces tonight, but as always, I'm going to kick it over to my guys tonight, Ryan and Mike, who are with me all the time. So Ryan, why don't you say a quick hello to the people out there?
Hey, everybody out there in social media land. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. It is great to be with you. You got some pretty amazing APs. The APs are kind of like the sidekicks of the schools. And so we're pretty excited to bring a couple usuals, maybe, because you've been on here before. And we're going to discuss a really good topic this evening. So you're definitely going to want to stick around and please drop some comments so that we can interact with you.
Hey, everybody, how we doing? It's Mike Lavelle back out here from Massachusetts, assistant principal in my 11th year out here. Just really excited about the topic tonight. Social media affects everybody, affects us all. We all on it. We all have it. Our kids are interested in it, and we do a lot of different things on it, but it does have its downsides and it does have its upsides. So we're here to talk about both tonight, and like I said, drop your comments in there. We'll try to get to those too. Welcome to our guests. It's good to see everybody. It's good to be back. Right up to you, my friend.
Hey, I'm James Overton.
Come on, James, introduce yourself here.
I'm James Overton. I'm a middle school assistant principal in New Jersey as well. AJ, good to see you again. I'm in my second year, and I'm in central New Jersey. And social media has taken a big toll on our school, our district, our town, our state, in a lot of different ways. Some good, some bad. So hopefully tonight we can talk about a little bit of both on that scale and see where we get to.
Well done. Hope, go ahead, kick it over.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hope Weinberg. My preferred pronouns are she and her. I am an assistant principal in Westchester County in New York. And I was just trying to do the math. I think I'm on year 7 or 8 in the assistant principal role. I was trying to add up my time in New Jersey, then my time back in New York. But I'm super excited to be here with this awesome group, and I can't wait to get ready and talk about this great topic.
No, we are glad to have you both, James and Hope. So glad you are joining us again. Told you we'd have you back. I really appreciate it. So look, here's the deal. We're all, as you guys said, we're all on social media, right? It's a big topic for us. It's a big thing going for our students. I don't know about you all, but I have students who are sneaking to the bathroom to grab their cell phones and, no joke, do TikTok dances in the bathroom. And I've been told this a number of times by other students. I can't do anything about it because I can't go in the bathrooms, right? So look, we understand that social media is a positive for many of us as we're using it right now. However, when it comes to addiction and things like that, it's a negative, and it really is driving our students. So Mike, I'm going to throw this your way because you're passionate about this right now. So why don't you explain, some things that you see and where you want to go with this conversation tonight?
Sure. So just like everybody's saying, it's like this concept of the utopia and dystopia, right? We have a really good thing going on with social media. Like Josh says all the time, you're on social. If you're not on social media, you're renting movies at Blockbuster and you're buying at Montgomery Ward. There it is, right? We see it all the time. But to that, I would also say, right, sometimes we need to tell our kids to drop their feed and read. Sometimes we got to tell our adults, sometimes we got to say, drop your feed, join the HCT. This is the Center for Humane Technologies. There's a lot of technology things out there. We're not in the beginning stages of social media anymore. We're about a decade into this, right? And we know that these algorithms, specifically the attention retraction model, this is what the algorithms do, distract your attention, right? Those are the things, right, that are really starting to take its toll on everyone, right? So especially our students, with the Facebook piece and the Facebook files coming out and their own research with Instagram, 1 in 3 girls has a negative body image because of the Instagram, the app that we have. So we know these things are happening. So how do we address it, right? So the really positive things are there, but some of the negative things too. So just some of the actual things that we've been through this year. Maybe we can talk about those topics. First, we had the Devious Licks Challenge coming at us all, APs too, right? This is the destroy the bathrooms. This is all the sort of things that were coming through the channels on TikTok. This was a challenge, Devious Licks at the beginning of the year. And then we had the December 17th was more along the lines of a threat in your school type of thing with an active shooter type of deal. And some schools were directly affected by that. So if we can throw it to your desk, James, if you want to check that out, tell us about the, Devious Licks Challenge or the social media, how that kind of affected your culture. And same thing on the 17th too.
Yeah, the Devious Licks Challenge. At first, we thought it was a joke. A kid brought it to me, and I said, "Well, no, that's not a real thing." And then just talking to some colleagues of mine, they said, "No, these things are going on." So we had to be a little bit more diligent about who was going in the bathrooms, how many kids were in there at a time. We had to monitor them a lot closer than before. We were lucky; we didn't have a lot of things going on with that. Now the threat, the odd piece about that was a few days before that, we did have a threat. We had a threat before the national day. And you talk about hysterics. We had parents that just didn't want to send their kids to school. We had kids that were coming in and didn't want to be there. I had one 6th grader who said, "Mr. O, can I just stay in your office today? Because I know you'll take care of me." I said, "Everyone in here is going to take care of everybody, and we're going to be fine, and nothing's going to happen." But you talk about trauma. You have an 11-year-old child that is now worried to go to school, which is supposed to be a safe place for them. And it takes you to a different place in your mind. Like, where does this come from? Who would put something like this out there? But it's happening more and more on a regular basis. And we have to try to keep up with it or try to get in front of it as best we can. And that's not easy. Our jobs are hard enough as it is. We don't need social media on top of everything right now.
Right. And just to throw some specifics, I kept it, right? The Devious Licks Challenge was by month. So really quickly, not trying to give anybody ideas out there. September was damage to school restrooms. October, slap a staff member. Yeah. November, kiss someone else's girl. December, deck the halls, trash and inappropriate graffiti. January, jab a female. February, destroy school signs. March, make a mess in the cafeteria courtyard. April, grab privates of boys. May, skip school. June, flip out front office. And July, spray a neighbor's fence. Now, these are students, right? Their brains aren't fully developed yet. These are kids. They're just putting this stuff out there. But sometimes, like you're saying, James, they take it seriously. These kids are on social media. They see it. So I guess what can we do when these things come out to combat it, right? We're on social media as well. We're the trusted adults. What can we do out there? So anybody had any ideas, hope that why don't you talk to us about how it affected your school and maybe some ideas that we can to combat it. And I think that's a good avenue to take, because these things are going to keep coming and we got to have something in the toolbox. So brainstorming on that.
So it's interesting that I'm part of this conversation because I am in an elementary school where we have our youngest learners, right? K through 4 is my school. And something that we really try is to take the proactive approach in these situations. And we teach our students as early as kindergarten about the idea of leaving a digital footprint and the impact that can have on really the rest of their lives. When we were in kindergarten, it wasn't something that impacted us. We didn't talk about it. I think our biggest thing was playing Oregon Trail. I don't even know if there was a digital footprint that existed for us. So right now at the elementary level, this didn't impact us the same way as the secondary level. We were aware of it. We received information, to keep an eye on our upper level elementary students to see if there was anything happening. But for us here, I really think at the elementary level across the globe, we really should think about how we support this idea of the digital footprint for our youngest learners, what that looks like when they log into the computer, how even when they get excited about using a phone at their home, right, with a family member, what that can do. People know what you watch on YouTube, right? It is tracked. Someone is watching it. So It's something to really think about at the elementary level. We do really emphasize computer safety, technology safety, and how to be a digital citizen in a really safe way. So for us at the elementary level, I think the proactive approach might really help to prevent things happening down and up the road for our secondary level students.
That's a great way, that antidote, right? That this is a tool, we can use it, but it does call you, right? Once you use it, it starts to, it's not like a screwdriver or a saw or something. Like the tool just sits there. We go and get it. We use it for its purpose and we move it. This phone sits on your desk and buzzes and buzzes and buzzes. It's calling you. It could be addictive. So we got to send that message too, right? And that, letting them know that that's where we're at. I also think your, in up here in Massachusetts, we have our SROs, and I know you guys got your school resource officers out there. They're a great resource. We connect with our district attorney out here, District Attorney Early. They do a lot of public outreach. Look into that, and I'm asking them to come in. I mean, haven't had in a long time. We haven't had a huge assembly because of COVID, right? Hopefully we're making our way through, and even the district attorney's office is great. They're saying, look, we'll do 3 different presentations for you, 3 different grade levels. I can't tell you, these folks are awesome like that. And just to have them come in and from that law enforcement perspective, talk a lot just about what you said, Hope. It doesn't go away. It stays there. What to do online for online safety, keeping your things private, not you really showing, telling the world who you are, what age you are, wearing school colors and things like that. Now they know what schools you go to. Just that online safety piece is a very good way to kind of spearhead that early age and middle school age to, there can be dangers out there too. So let's use this appropriately. My co-host out here, AJ, Ryan, what's up? How you guys doing out there with your buildings? How Devious Licks hit you? What are you guys doing to kind of combat some of this stuff?
Yeah, Devious Licks did hit us. We're a smaller school, high school with about 700 students. So it did hit us. We did have some property vandalism. One of our teachers who had just lost their dad, one of the students stole something off of her desk that was his. Now, when the student figured out that it was actually, pretty sentimental, he gave it back, which I thought was pretty good. But yeah, I think, Mike, you kind of have it. You kind of nailed it. Like our students' brains, the stage of their brain development right now is wired for instantaneous gratification.
For sure.
And validation and words of maybe even you would say admiration. So when these kids are literally on their devices 24 hours a day seeking validation, they have to get it somewhere else. And to me, as a school, we can do that. If we are very intentional with the idea that all of our kids should be valued, seen, and heard daily, I think it would be more beneficial to try to be proactive on this type of stuff, to create a school, number one, that kids don't want to do that kind of thing. And number two, if kids do, the other students feel safe enough to turn them in. Not that it's like a, snitches get stitches type of thing, but it's like, this is our school, and, we have pride in our school. And so, yeah, I think if we're proactive, it's always easier to be proactive than reactive. So maybe if we invest a little bit more into the culture piece, we can see more dividends and not have to react so much.
Yeah, AJ.
Man, Ryan, you hit it on the head right there, man. Mm-hmm. That was huge. Like that piece about the fact that we need to get our kids involved in our school culture. That is huge. Like, I look at the things that are going on in our school, and there's still things going on, and I can't stand it. Like, it really is aggravating. And then I look at it like, maybe they just don't feel like this is their school. Maybe they feel like it is a place they have to go to, not a place that they want to go to or that they enjoy going to every day. So I'm trying to figure out the ways to make them feel like this is their home away from home. I know saying that we're a family may cause some kind of damage and it may not make people feel comfortable, but we have to make it feel like we're a family. We have to make it feel like we're in this together. Every grade level, we're not separate. We are all one. I got to be honest. I don't want the kids to not have social media. we see the benefit of social media. We are able to connect. Look at us. Look at the things that we're doing here. We can connect with so many people that are in the same field, doing the same thing, feeling the same way. You know, our kids can do that too. We just show them the right way. If we can show them that technology and social media is more than just what's the cool trends, what's the ideas that are funny. You know, where are these funny videos? Where's the stuff that they're finding? There's more to it than that. Unfortunately, they're kind of stuck in that. And Ryan, I don't know if it's like, I feel like social media right now is more of a middle school thing because a lot of it is immature comedy, attention. I don't know if high school, if they're able to kind of like pull away from that because it's not for the older kids. You know, they kind of will go a different route. They'll follow like the famous people who are doing the other things that they do. I don't know. I don't follow that stuff. But, you know, for middle school, they really get sucked right into the stupid comedy. And we're all guilty of that. We did too. You know, we went to go see ridiculous movies when I was a kid. Beavis and Butthead. Right? There you go. Beavis and Butthead. That was it. That's everything I did. I watched it, and I watched it, and I made sure I was the first one in the movie the day it came out. So our kids fall into that. That's just the immaturity at middle school. But I hope that we can kind of spread the idea of this positive school culture. We're in this together, and we can do this together, and not a place that they have to go to, a place they want to go to.
Right. And I think ringing the bells all the way around. You guys hit on so many different things out here, you know, from it's definitely about seen, heard, and valued. Ryan, I use that line. I've stolen it. I've taken it. When I talk to my kids, I tell them, I want you to know I'm seeing you in my office here. I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm listening, and I'm valuing what you're saying, but I got to get the other side of the story too. I think somewhere in the middle might lie the truth. Right. So there's a lot of that going on. And when we take that time, that moment, that restorative chat to let them know, if they heard you say it before, check and connect, right? Check in with them and connect and see what's going on. Then they do feel valued. They don't need that like button. They don't need that like anymore. They know that they're adults in there that care. So if we think about it for a second, right, what's directly tied into, you know, the social media accounts are the cell phone uses, right? Are our cell phone policies, what we have in our buildings for cell phones, they're not going away. They're here to stay, right? We know that. And I think along the lines of what are your cell phone policies in your building? What have you seen kind of, what are the trends when, you know, do you have to take them? Do you get into a power struggle with the students when they don't want to give them up? What are the policies, and kind of how do we look at it from that point of view too? Because what we have is we have a screen in front of us. On the other side of that screen, you have a social media algorithm. And that algorithm is called something. It's AI, it's artificial intelligence. It's designed to retract your attention, to keep you looking at that screen. This was not designed by us. Educators did not design this. So what you have is you have AI pointed back at yourself for its own self-interest. That's dangerous, and it can be dangerous. But it's also extremely positive and can be positive too. So we gotta, if you really think about it, there are only two industries in the world that refer to their customers as users: illicit drugs and software. So we have this concept, right? We got this idea, this technology. It's so powerful. But how do the cell phones play into your school culture? And what do you guys see? And how do you not like necessarily combat it, but how do you live with it? How do we navigate through the cell phone world and use it for good, and also take this concept of, you know, being a user of the technology, because they're all called electronic users policies, right? That's what mine's called anyway in my building. So we got to be careful. Like it could be a drug. We know it's addictive. So how are we dealing it? What does your daily life look like? Because let me tell you, sometimes, I think it was yesterday, Monday, my office looked like the Verizon store, man. It was chiming off. I had the kids in these notifications. Oh my goodness. If my phone was going off that much, I'd want to go to the bathroom and check it too. It's like that. Zzz, zzz, my whole thing was lit up. So now I'm asking them to shut it off before they come into my office. For some of them, honestly, some of my students who have multiple violations, we're on this concept of hand it in to me in the morning. I'll give it back to you at the end of the day. And they're willingly doing it. I don't have to chase them down. It's almost like a sigh of relief. Here you go, Mr. Lavelle. All right, just power it down because I don't want to hear about your million notifications. Maybe shut some of those off. I'm trying to hope lights keep shutting off on her. I see her waving around. That's awesome. We're live here, live stream. We're live. So just your cell phone policies, how you're navigating it, and how we can help combat some of this stuff.
So, for us, for my young scholars, our cell phones are not a concern. They can't be here. And if for some reason they are here, they're in a backpack shut off, perhaps for when they get home, if they have to call for support from a grown-up, or if they need it utilized to, hey, Mom, I missed the bus. Hey, Auntie, I missed the bus. I think one of our biggest things here is trying to encourage that a cell phone could be used to maximize the educational benefit that it's intended, right? Like teaching students how to use it smartly, scanning QR codes to access a website, using it to access a technology platform. I wonder sometimes if we used it more in that way, if the social media aspect of it would be lessened. Sometimes they just want to get their hands on it because it's theirs, and they feel a sense of pride and ownership that it's something that belongs to them. So sometimes I wonder, maybe we need to use it more in a smarter way at the secondary level.
Yeah, so I'm raising my hand on that one.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we
Ryan?
we have to admit that this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
Like I imagine. So I imagine, 2 generations back when the calculator came out, that there were these teachers that were just in upheaval. How dare these kids not have to memorize their math facts? And they spent literally 20 years fighting against a calculator until we finally accepted, oh, this is actually something that we can use and harness in education. And so I love what Hope is saying here. If we look at cell phones as a tool, and we look at technology as a tool, and then we look at our purpose in education as teaching our kids how to use those tools, then it becomes a completely different conversation. I think it comes down to also, what is our education system for? People at the secondary level love to say, well, in real life, our kids, we're preparing them for the real world. But then we give them Algebra 2, or we give them, some other classes that is never going to be used outside of the academic world. But we fail to have classes on, why couldn't we have a class on social media? Why could we not have a secondary class on effective use, PR using your cell phone? Or because that's their world, people. Like,
Right.
Again, if our education system that looks like the 5 of our education system, then we're doing something wrong. Because guys, I hate to tell you, but the world is not the same when we were kids. Sorry.
Ryan, I want to piggyback on that for a second, because that last statement, the world is not the same as when we were kids. There are schools, there are Division I colleges giving full scholarships for esports now.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So if you went back 10 years and you said this, you would say, oh, you're crazy. But there are kids going to school for free for gaming.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. That is unheard of. But again, it's not unheard of now. That's part of our society. It's part of our children's reality. So when we talk about preparing for the future, there are people that play video games and make a ton of money. There are YouTubers that are making, a living at 18 years old. Exactly.
Yes.
And it's the type of thing where, again, like you guys are saying, we can't go back. We can't take it away. But what can we do to maybe funnel it in a different direction going forward? And that's the struggle that I'm having right now. I have kids that, where it used to be a kid wanted to be Ken Griffey Jr. or Michael Jordan, they're mentioning YouTubers now. I don't even know who they are.
Right.
I watched an esports tournament on ESPN the other day. It wasn't on the Ocho. That's the running joke in my house. It's on the Ocho, but it wasn't. It was on like ESPN2 with the Dose, and it was amazing that this was real, and the prize money was real, and these were kids that were doing it. So now you get kids saying, well, I want to be a gamer. I don't need algebra 2 because I'm going to be a gamer. I don't need US history because they've got more followers on YouTube than I have on Twitter. And so it's a very real issue that we're running into with our kids in our society now.
Yeah, I just got a esports club started in my high school. I pitched this idea to our AD a couple months ago and about it because our state athletic association recognizes that as a sport. So we could have made it a high school sport, but it's a lengthy process to get a new sport in your building. So instead, I just started it as a club. And wouldn't you know, I had 37 kids that are interested in it. And out of these 37 kids, 30 of them have never been involved in a single extracurricular thing at our school. And exactly what you're saying there, man, like this is these kids' lives. And I'll tell you, I love public ed. I love public education system, but it's so frustratingly slow how we adapt to the actual world. It's so frustrating.
So congratulations, Ryan, on that esports club. I did it at my middle school level. At the high school level, you got this platform called Playverse. And if you look into that, you can just play anybody. It's awesome throughout the whole entire country.
I think that's what we're on. VS.
Playverse, yeah. Middle school level, they didn't have so much. So we kind of created it from scratch. And we were at season 0, and then the world went sideways for COVID in March 2020. So we're back in business coming up after. Same number. That's so odd. 37 kids came out for that my esports team. 1 grade level. I had to open it up just to 7th grade. That's our highest grade level. 37 kids. I know if I went to 6th and 5th grade, there'd be even more. And it's just really, it's like a live wire. You plug it right into the culture. And like you said, some of these kids have never even been involved with a sport. I had a parent call me, said he's never expressed any interest in any sports.
Anything, right?
Anything that had to do with school. So there are these awesome stories that we have. And I think one thing about, you mentioned the calculating power, and that's interesting. And so wasn't the printing press, right? When all that came out, those were things, and there's this narrative that, well, we'll just adapt to the social media, but we have to understand the computing power and the artificial intelligence behind the algorithms. It's 100,000 times as it's ever been, and it's pointing back at us. And it's taking this concept and, making us look at, social media feeds and your For You page and all those sorts of things. And it's kind of bringing you down the rabbit hole. Right. And to Hope's point, and I think the best way I can, explain this is driver's ed, right? There's a lot of freedom when you get your license in your car and you get to hop in there, man. And it's just on. I mean, that's what it was for us. And the same thing with these. It's like we go through all of this training just to drive a car. You go through hours of it. You go through, your permit, your everything. You got your parents' keys. You got to go through insurance, all these things. You get this for your birthday, and it's showtime. There are no regulations. This is their world. So we got to start in public ed just to say, okay, once you get these, here are some of the things you need to look out for. Here are some of the things that are real. The Screenagers movie is a great resource to bring into your building. If you haven't seen it, the Screenagers movie, there's two versions of it now. There's the first version, growing up on the screens. I can't think of the name right now, but there's Screenagers 1 and Screenagers 2. And the second one is more about addiction and how it's, 2 hours a day and some recommendations, that sort of thing. And the other documentary I'd like to mention is Social Dilemma. The documentary is from 2020. It's really well put together. It's kind of a hybrid drama kind of thing. So the documentary level is from all the, Google design ethicists, and you have all these folks who created the Facebook like app. All these folks are there, the Pinterest president. This is the system that they created, and they're warning on what it's become. And then the drama version of it follows a high school family. And the star is kind of like the quintessential family, and everybody's kind of in it. And then there's the middle school little sister that's really kind of addicted to this thing. There's the star who he's kind of soccer, but he's going both ways. And there's the disconnected older sister, and they go back and forth. And it's really kind of powerful to understand what the social media piece is about. AJ, let's get you in here, my friend.
Yeah, I'm just listening. You guys are all really on point with so many of these different ideas. And our cell phone policy, just kind of going back to the beginning of it, our cell phone policy is off and away. And I'm putting it in quotes, right? Because I know it's supposed to be away, but I can see every cell phone in my school. I got my kids wearing hoodies, and you can see the outline of the phone in their hoodie. So it's technically away. I don't know if it's off, right? I could see it in their sweatpants because they don't wear jeans anymore. I could see it in their sweatpants. It's dragging down their sweatpants. I could see it in their leggings. I could see it coming out their back pockets. So I know they're not technically away. And I hate to say to the kids, go put your phone in your locker. I tell them that sometimes, but then like, oh, Mr. Bianco, my locker is broken. So-and-so knows my password. I'm afraid they're going to steal my phone. And I feel for them, because I know back in the day, my locker could easily somebody can get into my locker, right? I don't want to see something happen to my kid's phone because then it's on me, right? And I tell them to go put it away. But at the same point, when I think about this, yes, they're distracted by social media. Yes, like our kids now chat on 3 different apps. They don't just use text messaging. They text through Snapchat. They text through WhatsApp. They text through Instagram. They text through anything that has that feature of talking to somebody else. So it's amazing that they just have this opportunity to just open it up and have a conversation. They may not be going through a feed. That may not be their thing. They may just want to communicate with a friend and who's in another classroom. And that's the distraction. And families as well are a big issue. When I look at a kid, I'm like, who are you texting right now? Oh, my mom texts me. Like, your mom texts you in the middle of a school day? If my mom ever texts me in the middle of a school day, like, I would be shocked. Because even now, when they call me during a school day, like, oh, I'm sorry, are you still at school? It's 4:00. Like, I'm sorry, are you still there? They know, like, I'm there to either work or learn. So the fact that our parents are reaching out to the kids in the middle of the day is concerning by itself. So they just know that access is there, and they want to know their kids have their phone on them whenever they need them. And that's why they get them watches. That's why they get them smartphones. I like some of the kids now who are my younger kids, my 5th graders, who have the smart watches, but they're not connected to the cell phone, that they can also only talk to mom, dad, grandma, auntie, whatever. But, the cell phone is really a big problem for me. As we look at Sean's questions here, it says students pushing back is one thing. How do the APs handle parents, guardians who push back? So I don't really have a lot of this. A lot of parents are not pushing back. If I'm asking a parent to come pick up a phone, they kind of understand, they know the policy. But are you guys experiencing parents pushing back on cell phone use or technology in the schools? Do you guys notice that at all?
AJ, I've had a parent FaceTime their kid in school. And that conversation that we had, I think she actually felt bad once we had the conversation. And I said, if you ever really need to get in touch with your child, call me. I will personally go to the room to get him, and you can have that conversation. And it goes the other way. I tell my students, if you really need to get in touch with mom, grandma, dad, whoever, don't go into the bathroom and sneak it and do whatever. Come to my office. You can come in my office. You know what? I'll even walk out of my office and give you privacy, so you can have that conversation.
Yep.
But it's just, again, it's not just the kids that are so connected to these things. The adults are too. And it's a trickle-down theory. And that's what's happening a lot of times.
Sorry, Ryan. It's based on the model of the algorithm, right? It's called the attention retraction model. It's designed to grab our attention. And it's AI coming at you, pointed right back at us. On the other side of that screen, they're designed to get our attention, right? So that's key that we know that, and how to kind of combat that. Sometimes it's the notifications. You got to cut down on your notifications because that buzz is coming through. I was mentioning my office looking like the Verizon store, right? And all the buzzing going off from the notifications. And to be honest, some of them are ours. Power School notifications, Google Classroom notifications, Oxford Middle School notifications. Yep. Every time we post notifications. Yes, it's great. Like I said, it's that utopia. We're going to show the world everything that we can do. But if I just went into the auditorium and took a video of the stomp rockets getting, done in STEM class, that's awesome. But if I post it at 10 o'clock, all those phones are going off. So we just have to know, even ourselves, it's great to do. It's great to get out there. Coaches also text their players, also are on social media, also are on Google Classroom. It's a great way to communicate. However, it's also taking away attention. So our cell phone policy in my school, we based it off the Screenagers movie. It's away for the day. When we had lockers, we don't have our lockers anymore. What we did is we had away for the day. It had to be off and in your back and in your lockers. Now we don't have the lockers. It's off and in your backpack. Like AJ said, a lot of times it's not often in your backpack. It's on your person, and it's all day long on your leg or whatever it is. A lot of the teachers, without getting into a power struggle, we do ask our staff to, if you're going to head to the bathroom, just ask him to put it on his desk, or ask him to put it on, your desk, so that it's safe before they head out. That's one way to combat it. That we've tried to take the cell phones out of the bathrooms, because all it really is like you said, they just want to go check. They just want to see. It's that dopamine fix, right? Oh my God, this thing's buzzing off. Who is it? What is it? I can't check it in class. Can I go to the bathroom? Oh, okay, I'm good. And back
Mike,
in.
Does that work? Do the kids actually leave the phones by the bathroom?
It depends on the relationship with the teacher. If the
Exactly.
relationship with the teacher is there, they got the respect, and it's, I need your phone on my desk. That's not going to work. You're entering into a power struggle. But if you're like, hey, listen, we've had some problems in the bathroom. Can you just leave it on my desk or your desk? Sometimes, depending on the relationship, does work. And to Sean's question, Moriarty, I haven't had parents, come back at me unless we kept it for the day. Like, it's at the end of the day, and I've kept it, and they're trying to check in with them at home. So I won't keep it overnight unless I contact the parent first, because a lot of kids, that's their check-in, right? Or they're on the bus and they're told by their parents, this is how I'm checking in. So kind of learned our lesson there. We don't keep them overnight. Like if they're going out the door, all right, as soon as you get out the door, you're away for the day, you're out of the building, go ahead, pop them on. That's on you. But I don't keep them at night overnight, because one time the family called up extremely upset about that. But throughout the day, electronic user policy, the first one, I'm trying to build the trust with my kids, right? This one, it's mine for the rest of the day. The next one, I'm contacting mom. She's going to have to come in and get it. And I usually don't get to that second one because they do not want their mom or dad or guardian having to come in to grab that phone.
I do think about the impact that all of this has on the social emotional well-being of our kiddos. We're in such a time right now, as we all know. What does everyone say? We're in unprecedented times. We've been living in that for over a few years now, and who's counting, right? But I do wonder. Let me rephrase that. I don't wonder. I know that this all has such a significant impact on how our kids feel. And sometimes we have those really quiet kids who will never raise their hand in classes, and they just want to be a voice, and their outlet is through social media. So it's like there is this ambiguity for, the good versus the bad with it. And I really think about those quiet scholars in our classrooms who don't have the output to raise their hands and say how they think and feel, and they use social media as the outlet.
Yeah, if I can't jump on that, I'm gonna
Ryan,
say
you raise your hand, Ryan.
I'm going to say my piece, and then I'm going to slide off here and put two little girls to bed that are starting to fight. But no, so when my oldest daughter went to college, she's 18. She's a freshman in college. She, at the time, had a boyfriend that was still living here in town. And I told her the best piece of advice I had for her was to be where your feet are, that it is absolutely impossible to be living in two different worlds at the same time. And what I truly feel is the cognitive aspect or the side effects of not only our students, but of us, if we're trying to live in different realities at the same time, especially if we are asking our students. I mean, we know, we know that there are executive functioning deficits in a high number of students. And the pandemic has only multiplied that. So when these kids are sitting in class and we need them to be zeroed in to us, and we need them to be zeroed into what's happening where their feet are, but kind of like Mike said, if their phone is constantly buzzing or they are worried about what's going on in the world of social media somewhere else, how in the heck how can we expect that they are going to be able to pay attention, to be able to devote the amount of cognitive space that we need them to? They're never going to be able to think critically because they're so tied into outside. You know what I mean?
Their attention.
Yep. Yep.
So I think, I mean, AJ, we're on the 40 minute mark. I think it's time to talk about like that. There's a little bit of doom in there, but there's a whole lot of, positive things going on too. I think sometimes we just need some tools. I think one of those things that I tell my students, especially if I got their phone multiple times, is you got to cut down on the amount of notifications you have. Go through your phone, look at your settings, take a look at it. If that thing's buzzing off all the time, you're going to want to check it more. They're designed to capture your attention. So take a look at your notifications, kind of dial them down to the best of your ability, to the ones that you're happy to see that sort of thing. The other piece is these For You channels, or the For You on TikTok, and recommended videos, those sorts of things. I'm telling my students, be your own brain. If you're on social media, search out the video you want, type it into the top. Don't go down that rabbit hole, because it's just going to keep you connected. It's the concept. What they're doing is slightly changing your perception. They want to keep you at your attention. They want to keep you on as much as possible. So you searching your own stuff, that's going to keep you getting just what you want and just enough for you. So those two things I'm really starting to try to incorporate into my students that have all the time. They just can't put that phone down all the time. That attention retraction model is after them. So just those little things as of right now. And I want to build like a toolbox of those. What else can I have? What else can I use that really kind of looks at what can we do to gain their attention back? And like Ryan said, kind of where their feet are, and not pull their attention all the time. And like to Hope's point, what can we do to talk to these kids at a young age? Because once middle school hits, we know this is it. This is where their friends are. This is like the park where we grew up. When I was growing up, it was what hoop are we going to go to, right? I'm going to wear my own Celtics gear, on my own high tops, and I'm going to represent myself and check in with my friends. Yeah, now that's a digital check-in. That's on a social media platform. It's there, but we got to, how do we do this? They're designed to get your attention. You want to check in with your friends? What time is that good to do? When can we do that? At this time between school hours is not the time to do that. After, before, check in with your families, right? So kind of just getting these tools in, starting to mention them as APs. They're coming into our buildings, right? They're coming into our offices. Just mentioning these kind of tools is, I think, a powerful thing for our students. And it's giving them that bit of guidance. It's that learner's permit. We're missing that step. This is complete freedom. And there's no rails, there's no permit time, there's no learning how to drive it. It's just free for all. And that's the best I got right there.
No, you're definitely onto something. I think it's hard because I think, it comes down to our job, whether it's as APs or as a school in general, where we want to help kids understand how to use cell phones better, what a good digital citizen looks like, how to kind of maneuver through that world, because they're going to be in it forever now. They're learning at a young age. They're doing things that we had never done, still don't do when it comes to technology. I think, that idea there that you're saying about showing them how to like limit notifications, that's so important. Because when you take a kid's phone, you can see all the notifications for everything they do. And it's amazing. And I have a lot of notifications on my phone, but some of these kids have more. But, I think it really becomes our job as to kind of model what it looks like to use cell phones. Like, I hate to say it, like when they walk into a teacher's classroom and the teacher has a cell phone on their desk, why can't they? What's the difference there? Yeah, okay. So maybe the teacher has a family with kids, but they're the kid, like they have a family, So how do we say, like, put your phone away, but teacher, it's okay. you can walk around with your phone, or you can have it out, or you can be on it during your prep time, but the kids can't be on it during their lunchtime. So I think like we really have to send that message of what technology should look like in our school and how we should use it. There's so many programs out there and so many speakers, especially in New Jersey, who focus on like digital citizenship and how to use technology. And we got to find ways to get them in. Like we look at some of these SEL and mental health components. This is one of them. When kids are sneaking out of the classroom to be in a bathroom, they're stressed. They got to know what's going on around them. They bring their cell phone with them to bed, right? It's next to them. It's on their nightstand. It's their alarm clock. It's this, it's that. But they don't know how to break free of it. So we have to show them. Like we really have to teach these things. This is a full year class. It's not a 4-year class for a lot of our students, so they can understand, what they can do. But honestly, I don't want to say, tell the kids not to use the technology, don't use the apps, because they're going to fall behind. Like I look at my kids, that when they see me on the phone, boom, they're attracted. It's like a fly to a flame, right? They're there. Like, oh, what are you doing on your phone right now? Oh, you're doing your Duolingo, you're doing your Spanish. That's cool. Can I help you? They don't care about the Spanish. They just want to be on the phone. Yeah. They're all over it. They want to see it. They want to be part of it. It's the same thing as they get older. They have it in their hands. They want to be part of it. They want to feel like the in crowd. So I think going forward, we really need to show them like there is a lot of good. And if your school has a Instagram page or a Twitter account or anything you're doing with TikTok, and model that. Like don't say that doesn't fit our model of our school, because it does fit. This is your opportunity to show your kids this is how we do it and this is why we do it. And then our kids can do the same thing if they want to start making their own channels and their own YouTube and their own stuff like that. My kids are like, Mr. Bianco, you have an Instagram? I was like, I do. I'm wide open. I'm not private. The only thing that's private is messaging. So if you're not following me or I don't follow you, you can't message me. But I tell the kids that you try to find me, I'm open. You can follow the school account. You can follow my account. And I've told them, I've done this forever when I was in the classroom and now, because I want them to see what social media can look like and how you use it. When a kid's like, Mr. Bianco, all you do is tweet about education. It's like, yep, because that's what's important at this moment. I'm not going to just tweet about my family. You're not going to see me dancing on TikTok. This is what's important to me, and I'm trying to make some change. My wife is laughing at me because she can only picture me dancing on TikTok right now.
I was kind of hoping, AJ, I'm not going to lie. I thought maybe I'd find 1 or 2 videos on there.
No, sir.
But that is important, to kind of set that example for them, because my students see my Twitter account, my own children. I have high school age children, and they're like, Dad, we don't follow you. You're boring. Everything's about education and teaching, the occasional Giants rant, and that's pretty much it. But, but you're right. We have to set that example for them and sometimes for our staff members as well, because that is a valid point. If why can't I have my phone out when Mrs. So-and-so has her phone out during class? And that's a discussion that again, we want our children to be heard, right? We want to hear their opinions. It's real. Hope, I feel so bad for you over there. I'm going to just start doing this too.
I'm getting my exercise. I was just going to say respect mode, right? You want to put out the respect you want to give. You want to get the respect you deserve. Use your phone, respect mode, and just think about that. Put that into the universe.
AJ, so resources, like I said, Screenagers, that's a really good resource to bring to your schools. It's a great, psychology background, Dr. Delaney Rustin. The Social Dilemma piece, that's a really good, another really good, kind of documentary that you can get your mind around. And the Center for Humane Technology got a ton of resources that you can check out for kids, designed for them, talking about the very things that we're talking about right now. How it's, what it's designed to do, know the game of the AI, know what you're up against, and use it the right way type of stuff. So those are some resources that, if you have some time, check it out, can really help in your buildings too.
Hey, Mike, why don't you tweet out those links? I'll retweet those links with a link to the YouTube video as well. So, if you don't have those links, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this on replay, Mike, you want to tweet that out, and then I'll just retweet you with this, and then we can kind of, check it out that way. Yeah. So you can follow. Let me get Sean's comment out of here. Follow Mike at AP Mike Lavelle, and then I'll retweet him at AJ Bianco, and hope, James, you guys want to do the same thing. That'd be good. Let's get the ball rolling on that so everybody can kind of get those resources. Because I know Screenagers is good. I've never seen it. I've only heard amazing things. I was supposed to go see it, but something happened and I missed the showing of it when it was local. But I heard amazing things about that. All right. So look, we're at 50 minutes. Promise you guys 45, and we'll kind of stay under the hour. So before Hope has to get her lights going there, we got to get you a switch, Hope. I think that's what we're going to have to do for you. Get your office a little light switch. But let's real quick wrap it up. Thank you all for joining. I think Ryan is tending to his kids right now, so he's in the green room waiting. If he gets on there, we'll jump in there. But why don't we just go around one more time? Let the people know where they can find you, so they can continue the conversation. So Hope, you want to tell the folks out there where they can find you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at coach_4impact. Feel free to reach out, retweet, follow me. I'm excited to hear from you.
James, go ahead.
I'm right there at Overton_Mr. on Twitter. I also have a podcast, The Average Joe, J-O. Not a lot going on there, just some random thoughts from somebody just trying to figure out a couple things in education. That's it.
Yeah, I'm in LinkedIn. I'm at LinkedIn, AP Mike Lavelle, and I'm sorry, I'm on Twitter, AP Mike Lavelle. I'm on LinkedIn, Mike Lavelle. You can follow me out there. That's where I'm at on social media.
Ryan, go ahead. Ryan, you're muted.
Whoops. All right. So if you want to connect with me, probably one of the best places is on Twitter. You can find me at Ryan C. Scott 1981. But I'm also on Insta at Ryan Scott 1981. You can look for my podcast, the Big Ed Idea Podcast. Anybody out there that's got one of those ideas that you think can change the world of or through education, please hit me up. I'm always looking for great ideas because, like I like to say, the world only changes through big ideas. So please hit me up.
All right. Well said, everybody. And you can find me on all the social medias, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. I think that's it. Everywhere except for TikTok. I don't do TikTok. At AJ Bianco. So you'll never find me on TikTok. No dancing, James. So get over that.
You say that now. Just wait, AJ.
No, the kids don't try to get me to dance. I'm like, I'm not dancing with you. Like, there's no Mr. Bianco
I do it.
made. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't.
AJ, we're gonna set something up. We're gonna set something up with our schools, and we'll do something.
You know,
we'll get it going.
The next Ed Camp, James, we'll get together. We'll do an Ed Camp TikTok video, dance-a-thon, whatever they're called.
Anybody here have a MySpace page?
MySpace, probably out there somewhere. I don't know if I ever deleted it.
How about Facebook? How about that?
Space.
That one I don't know.
Only if we can watch Spaceballs.
Baseball's a movie.
I'm in.
There you go. All right, everybody. That's it for us from over here. We are going to be back. Me, Ryan, Mike. We will be back in 2 weeks. I don't even know what the date is. That February 15th? Is that right? Whatever. We'll tweet it out there. Come find us. We got a great conversation with some awesome people, and I'm sure Hope and James will be back another time. Maybe not together next time. We'll try to work it out.
I don't know. We're a package deal. We might have
to come together.
Maybe. That's the way it goes.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, everyone. Be well.
Take care, guys.